Hello, we're back again. The kids are now in bed, which means I've come back to see what's going on with the mount. So this is the mount that's currently in the garden. We have an EQ3 and it's an Altair 60 EDF with a SV Bony guide scope and a 120mm camera doing the guiding, and then a Pegasus Astro focus cube there, and this is reduced to 288 millimeters, and I've got Pegasus Astro focus wheel there, and then a 533M from Altair, and that's all riding on the EQ3. And let's have a look. If you guys would like to say anything at all or say hello, you'd be very welcome, and just whack something in the chat and I'll give you a mention. So let's go into the session that we have. So we're in Nina here. Guiding has actually settled a bit and it's now looking really quite good, so I'm not at all unhappy by this guiding. This is looking really good. For my EQ3, this is pretty much where I would expect it to be, and for a wide field setup, this is fine. So we're at 1.2 arcseconds. I can live with that. That's cool. And the wide field setup is very forgiving for this type of thing. So let's go into Nina, and we're currently running a session here which has got a bunch of S2 filter stuff, so I'm taking 90 of those, and then I'm taking 90 on the O3 filter as well. And in the imaging tab, the images are looking nice coming in, looking very good. Stars are sharp. I'm getting so many satellite trails tonight. I mean, loads of satellite trails. So there's nothing I can do about that. It's literally just up there. But when I stack that, they should hopefully be removed. Any really bad ones, though, I just won't stack. Something which is important, my meridian flip at the moment has been really bad. So what I'm going to do is set my alarm, because I'm going to go to bed in a few minutes, set my alarm for roughly 1 AM, probably just before, and I know that I'm going to go and have to intervene with the meridian. This is the last night of imaging on this particular subject, because I've now got three nights on this. So I'm going to basically let this. So I'll come along at 1 AM and I'll reset the meridian, because it always fails with this mount. It just does. Nothing I can do. And so I'll reset it and then reslew again, plate solve, and set it going again. And then it'll be good until it finishes the sequence about 4 AM in the morning. So that's pretty much what's going on here. I'm hoping, yeah, it says with dither and everything else, it says it's going to be around 4 AM when it parks and then warms the camera, and then we're done and I can start looking at some of this data. So that's kind of the imaging at the moment. It's going quite well. Guiding has settled. Took a while to settle, but guiding has settled a bit. Although that dither is a bit mad down there. So yeah, that one has gone a bit crazy. Yeah, so if you have any questions at all about what you can see, please feel free to put them into the comments. Even when I come off this stream, you're welcome to put a comment in there, and I will do my best to answer it later on. I'm really tired. I did a sponsored bike ride today, about 18 miles. I don't normally do 18 miles in a day, but yeah, I'm feeling it, and I've got a really dry throat, hence why, cheers everyone, it's very dry throat. I wish I had, so Dr. Hex UK, I wish I had clear skies. Yep, well, we've had three nights of clear skies. I can't actually remember the last time I had 3 nights of clear skies in a row. Genuinely can't. No idea. So focus was looking pretty good when we did it earlier, and this region of space is interesting. The lobster claw, you can kind of see it there, and you can kind of see the other side there, and that's the bubble. So if I just zoom in a bit, so the bubble bit is there, and then there's loads of nebulosity around here. Now what I've been a bit stupid, to be honest. When I've been imaging in narrowband, I've decided that it's really bad idea to do all 3 filters or more filters in one night. You can't do that. So what you need to do is prioritize as a project, really, where you say, right, I'm going to go for S2 for 3 nights and get maybe 8 hours on S2, and then the same with your other filters. Otherwise you don't have enough data, because I was finding I was doing maybe 2 hours on HA, 2 hours on O3 and 2 hours on S2, but something would go wrong, so you'd lose most of your O3 and S2, and therefore you'd only have HA. So it's important to get enough data. So Dr. Hex UK, I did a video on the EQ-AL5 55. Yeah, I did a while back, and you ended up buying one. Interesting. How is it? Is it a good mount? It certainly looked very nice. I've not heard an awful lot about them. I can't remember. I think it was just a new mount that came out from Skywatcher. Yeah, so I'd be interested to know how you get on with that, because it had servos instead of stepper motors, if I recall. Does that ring a bell? I think that's what it had. But it was a nice looking mount. So I hope you get on well with it, and I hope it serves you well. My EQ6 mount, which I bought, it's just through there, is amazing. It's really good. The only thing I have, which is an issue with any EQ6 mount, is the fact that it's just the heaviest thing in the world, and if you're not in an observatory situation, it's a lump, and I don't really fancy getting a hernia. So it's a really, really heavy mount. But the alternatives are the I suppose the Ioptron ones, because they're quite a lot lighter, but they're quite high capacity. But then you could go down the road of a strainwave mount, which I haven't done. I obviously haven't done, and there's a really good reason I haven't done that, and that's because everything I do, astronomy-wise, is totally self-funded. So I don't have enough subscribers to make any money. I literally I haven't even claimed any money I am able to make. But it's astonishing how many hours of view time and how many subscribers you need to actually make any money. So it's and I don't have Patreon, and I don't sell stuff. So everything I do on the channel is entirely self-funded, and that's not a woe is me plea by any means. It's just because I obviously have to make use of the resources I've got, and I have no problem with pursuing this myself. So that's cool. But if any of you guys would like to subscribe, that would be marvelous, and much appreciated. So yeah. Dr. Hex has replied, I do like it. I have backlash issue in declination. Oh, you're on your second one due to backlash. But I have done some astrophotography and started a channel. Nice. So Ardsley Astro, so ARDSLEY, and then Astro. So go check it out, everyone. Have a look. Actually, you know what? Starting a YouTube channel is a really good. It's quite therapeutic in a weird sort of way. It gives you a creative outlet, and I think it's actually really good. It's really good discipline to learn as well. It sort of broadens your horizons of how, if you see a need to help people with something or give them information about something which can help them, it really does help other people. And then sometimes you get some people who just put the most horrendous comments, and you just think, okay, that's really not very nice, and then you have to delete that. And then the next day you'll get the most amazing comment that said, your video stopped me from throwing my telescope out of the window, so thank you very much, or something along those lines. So it swings and roundabouts, but the positive comments massively outweigh any negative ones, and it's good to know that you've helped someone if you can. So yeah, so that's basically it. We're imaging. I don't know if any of you watched the previous 40 minutes that we did before I put my kids to bed, but I did a bit of live stacking on a couple of objects, and then set this up going. So that's it really. This is lobster claw and the bubble. Guiding is looking good, even though, oh, have I gone into the internet? I shouldn't have gone into the internet. Let's close that. Let's go into PhD. Yep, so that's a bit of dither. You see my figures have gone up, but that's because it went a bit weird here, and it went a bit weird with dither, but that's okay. I as I said previously, this particular mount, which is this one here, this is the rig at the moment in the garden, and it's an EQ3. It was relatively new. It is second hand, and I did have to refurbish it and fix one of the wiring inside, but it works. It actually works very well. It just isn't as accurate as, say, an EQ6, and it doesn't like to, when you're plate solving and it slews, it doesn't like to settle, which can be a bit of a problem. But so the mount, I do like the EQ3. It's super light. I can just pick this whole thing up and bring it inside. Titch, hello. How are you? Hope you're well. Did you went to the astronomy show today, didn't you, Titch? Did you get any good stuff? Was it a good show? My cat has just knocked something over. I'll just quickly move the thing they've knocked over. This is my cat. Can you see my cat? This is Biscuit. Here we go. Say hello, Biscuit. Hello. Yeah. No, he doesn't want to be picked up. There you go, mate. Off you go. Yeah. So that's Biscuit, the cat, and our other cat is Brownie, who's black. They were both named after food as opposed to colours. Yeah. Well, I've lost my thread. Oh yeah, Titch. So I hope you're well, and I hope the show was good today. So those who are not in the UK, there are, I think, 3 astronomy shows in the UK. One's in London. I think when is it? I think it's. Can't remember where that one is. I can't remember. There's one in London which is, I think, run by the Astronomy. Is it Astronomy Now magazine or someone like that? And then the other one is PAS, the Practical Astronomy Show, which is about the only one I ever get a chance to go to, but I really enjoy that one. And then this one, I think, is the International Astronomy Show, I think, which was held today. And that one's up north. So I'm in the east-ish, just above London, in Luton, and then go a bit further north, and that's where the one from today is. And yeah, apparently it's a very good show. Oh, hang on, Titch has replied. Both you British shutter now though. I just bought a dew heater for the Newtonian. Cool. How did the focuser go, Titch? Did you manage to get your focuser sorted? So no, that was your last video as well. If you guys go and subscribe to the Dumpy Dalek Observatory, which is Titch's channel, and it's very interesting. So yeah, he's struggling with the Newtonian at the moment, trying to get that to work really well. Okay, so that's the rig in the garden at the moment, which is imaging and guiding's okay-ish. And in Nina, so we're on the lobster claw and the bubble down here. So all is looking pretty good at the moment. Oh, you've not fitted it yet? Okay, well, good luck with fitting it. I hope it goes on well. I think it just goes directly onto those Skywatcher. Those Skywatcher base plates anyway. Yep. Are you using a 533? Yes. So this is a 533M, which is the Altair version of this camera, and in fact this actual camera is the one which was reviewed for the Sky at Night magazine, and it was then sold off cheaply, which is why I bought it, because I'm a cheapskate. So basically it's a 533M, and so far it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. The only issue I have with it is that on the odd occasion it refuses to cool. So you then have to take the power out and the USB, and then it says, oh, okay, I'm a camera again and I will work, and then it works. It's a bit weird. It only happens, I think, when I boot up. Apart from that though, it's fine. I don't think it's faulty. I think it's a feature more than anything else, because sometimes cameras just don't work. Maybe it's me. It usually is me, to be honest. Your cameras are X-Demo too. Yep. I think all of my cameras are, so yes, all of mine are X-Demo from Altair. So my 290C, the little planetary one, was my first ever camera. That was an X-Demo. My 269C was an X-Demo. When I did have a fan called 294C, that was an X-Demo, which I sold that one though. I wish I hadn't sold that one now. I like that camera, but really I did need the cooled version of it. And my other 269C was also an X-Demo, and then this one, I mean, it was basically as new, but it was the Sky at Night one, which got a good review, very good review. It was I think they said it was something like 4.5 stars or 5 stars. I don't know if I can quickly call up any images that I've taken with it. So basically, if I look, this is I think I've already posted this one in a video, but so that was the elephant's trunks. That's HOO with this particular camera, and you can see Ellie there, and there's the trunk. But it's a good. So when you're doing mono, this is a question I have, and I haven't quite got my head around this, and this is due to lack of data. But when you're doing mono imaging, you obviously, if you're doing HOO, your stars are going to be a weird colour because of the fact, so you can see quite clearly there, that star is blue. All of the stars are blue. And it was Astro Backyard actually. I was watching his channel and he said, yes, it's an SHO image with RGB stars. And that got me thinking. So basically, he's doing an image, or you're basically doing an image, you're extracting your stars, and then putting the RGB stars into your narrowband image. I'm assuming that's what they're doing. But the one thing I don't like about this is the stars, because they're all a putrid, horrible blue colour. So that's something I need to learn how to do properly. And the other bit of imaging that we're doing tonight, so if I go to lobster, so I did a rough stack, and oh, someone's at my front door. I will be back in a moment. Hey, I'm back. Interesting. I'd left my car door open and my lovely neighbour across the road has just come to tell me I left the car door open. And I feel a bit stupid, really. We're having a car boot sale tomorrow, and so I was loading, getting the car ready so I can load it quickly in the morning, and I left the door open. Can't believe that. Anyway, it's nice of my neighbour to come around and tell me that, so that's good. Anyway, so this is the image I'm working on at the moment. This is what I'm gathering data on. This is HA and a bit of O3, yes. So you can see there's nowhere near enough data here. The HA looked really good though, and there's the bubble. You can see the bubble really nicely there. So we're gathering more data on this, and so this is the S2 data which is coming in at the moment. And then later on we'll have some more O3 data to go in there. Wow, I've got loads of comments. Okay, where are we? So Dr. Hex UK is saying, I'm running the SV Bony SV705C, cool, and looking for cooled next. Oh, you're going for a 405cc. Okay, cool. Out of stock until February. So yeah, so I don't know where you are. If you're so the SV Bony 405cc camera, I have one of those, and I know many people will say differently about the I'm really tired. Can you tell? 294C sensor. So the 294C sensor has a gain range which you shouldn't use, and I have proved this with my 405cc, and it's the same for the Altair cameras, and it's the same for the ZWO cameras. Now I put this on ZWO's Facebook group because someone said my images won't stack, and they basically chosen the gain of 120, which is at the gain conversion point. Now there's a Sony document which says you should avoid a period of they're represented with hexadecimal numbers, but basically gain ranges represented with hexadecimal numbers, and they should be avoided because the sensor performs inconsistently. Now I just commented that you might want to avoid some gain, and I got absolutely slated for saying that, saying no, this is rubbish, it's all about the long duration flats. It is about the long duration flats, but I'm not 100% convinced about the long duration flats. It's really tricky with flats because many of us use LED panels, tracing panels, and they flicker. So if you take short duration flats, you're going to get flicker, but if you take longer duration flats, you avoid the flicker. So I'm my jury, my internal jury, is out on the 294C sensor. There is, I spoke to Robin Glover at Paz, who writes SharpCap, and I also spoke to him. He told me about this document that Sony produced, which basically says, avoid these game ranges, the sensor is inconsistent, and then it lists these game ranges. So basically, my 405cc is very difficult to use. Any 294C color sensor, they are tricky beasts to master. They're really tricky beasts to master. Although, having said that, you can get beautiful images. I mean, stunningly beautiful images with them. But if you... So with my... And I don't know if SV-Bony have changed the design. They almost certainly have. But with my 405cc, I no longer use a gain range, that gain range. I basically choose a gain above 200 or 200. And obviously an offset of wherever I need to put it. And now it stacks beautifully. But I also use between 3 and 5 second flats, and I use dark flats. And bias is a weird one with the 294C. There's a debate as to whether you need it. But I've tried both and I can't really see a huge difference with bias. But basically, so it's lights, darks, flats, dark flats, and bias. But not sure about the bias for a 294C. But yeah, it's really, yeah. So the gain thing, when I spoke to Robin, he was telling me about the Altair version of the 294C, and in SharpCap, his software, the way he's integrated the driver for the Altair driver for that camera, his software actually stops you from selecting that gain range. And he said that he no longer... I don't know about the ZWO stuff because obviously their driver is different. So, yeah, but it's interesting. I wish I could firmly say I can only work up with my ZWO, my SV-Bony one, and I saw the histogram go perfectly until 119. It was a beautiful histogram. I went to 120 and the histogram went nuts, but the image was pure white. So pure white, everything was... So basically I oversaturated the sensor, and then I gently increased the gain, and the histogram is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hit 120 at the gain conversion point, and the histogram went bonkers. And then I increased the gain further and got to about 190, and then the histogram was beautiful again. So that's just for my camera, so please don't shout at me. I don't want to be shouted at. But basically, for my particular camera, I avoid that gain range, and now it calibrates, and it calibrates beautifully. So it's weird, but if you have problems with the 405cc, which is the SV-Bony version of the 294C, just try and experiment, or use SharpCap and look at your histogram and see where it works. So it might be something useful to you. The other thing to note is the Bayer pattern is different. It is gRGB rather than RGGB. I have to write these down, and I've been up for a very long time, so I'm a bit tired. So yeah, good luck with... sorry, I've just had a bit of a rant about 294C cameras. Sorry about that, everyone. Oh gosh, there's loads of messages. Right, let me take some water. Right. Titch says, first had 269C, which my other half bought for me. After years I could get the 26C. I seem to remember this, yeah. I mean, I would love a 26C, but I haven't got one. I've got the 533 instead. But my 269C, I don't know if you find this, Titch, but it loves bias. So I couldn't get it to stack without bias. Again, it might just be my sensors. Who knows? What I do on narrowband images, Andy, is on my star mask, invert it, run remove green noise, re-invert, and check the stars for colour. And sometimes I run it again should any green appear. Okay. Titch, I'm going to copy that text because that's useful for me. Thank you. I now need to find somewhere to paste it, don't I? Notepad. I'll do for now. Right. New. There we go. Okay, cool. Dr. Het, saw your vid. I agree with you. Some people just don't listen. Well, yeah, I don't want to. I'm. My only goal with any of this is to make this hobby easier. Because crikey, it's hard enough at the best of times without the number of curveballs it can throw you. And Dr. Hex says, find with the SV705C, if I use darks, it adds noise, so don't bother anymore. Okay, just use lights, flats, dark flats, and bias. You know what? I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think it's very difficult to know about every sensor that's out there. So it's easy to say that you need lights, darks, flats, dark flats, and bias. Not every camera is going to be happy being processed with all of those. And the other thing, which is a curveball, is the fact that the sensors are obviously off-the-shelf sensors from whichever manufacturer, and then the sensor which is being manufactured for the camera that we buy, either ZWO or TubeTech or the rebranded Altair or so on and so forth, their implementation of that sensor and the electronics in there may not function in the way that one person or the next person finds is the same as their other camera. So what I'm trying to say is the implementation may mean that your calibration frames are totally different. So what you've said there is basically, yes, everyone says lights, darks, flats, dark flats, and bias, but you might not need it for your implementation. So it's all about experimenting and finding what works for your workflow, because even your workflow might be totally different as well. So Titch is saying, with the 269C, I've only ever done lights, flats, dark flats, although I do think it would benefit darks. Very light glow on the edges. Yeah, we see your sensors obviously performing in a slightly different way to mine, and I suspect this as well, that if you buy one camera and then buy exactly the same camera, the sensor, its age, when it was produced. In fact, we get this in work. We have LED screens at work, and when you buy an LED screen, they provide LEDs, individual LEDs, and if you ever knock off an LED, you have to send that tile, that image module tile, away with some of the batch of LEDs for that tile, because the color temperature is different. And I would imagine that sensors are the same, so different sensors batches when they're manufactured probably have a different or marginally different response, obviously within a band of criteria, but they're marginally different. So I would imagine different sensors, even though they have the same badge, will have a different performance as long as it's within the range of characteristics that they deem as to badge it with that, that sensor name. Forgive my voice. I've been on a long bike ride today, and it's a charity bike ride we do to basically raise a little bit of cash for historic buildings, churches and stuff, and it's only about 18 miles. It's not particularly long, but I did it today, so I'm a bit croaky, so sorry about that. Anyway, it's really late now. It's 10:32, so let's have a quick look at guiding. Guiding's behaving. Wow, that's probably the best guiding I've had from this mount. That's really good. I'll take that, but however, I think we are coming up. So the meridian is going to be sort of before 1, and I will come back and check that it's done its thing properly, because I need these hours, and it's not going to be clear for the next few days. So yeah, so what's the sequence looking like? So at 25 from 90, and everything seems to be going quite well. Where am I going? I was going to look at something and I can't remember what now. The other thing I was thinking is I'd quite like a colour 533 as well. I have to see if they come up. I'm enjoying this setup though. This is quite good. I haven't, if you guys haven't seen the rig, so that's the rig. This is a reduced 60 EDF. It's a 288mm focal length with a 0.8 reducer flattener on there, and so it's an SV Boney guide scope, the mini guide scope, and clamp on there. It's an SV Boney clamp as well, and then that's a ZWO 120mm, and that's the Pegasus Astro focus cube, and then Pegasus Astro focus wheel, filter wheel, I beg your pardon, and SV Boney filters are just in there, just 7nm ones, and this is the Mono 533, and it's all riding on my EQ3 mount, which is very cool. It actually, I really like it. I really like this little mount. It's so cheap. It's got a good payload capacity, and this whole thing here, all I have to do is unplug it, and I can lift the whole thing up and just walk inside with it. That's a revelation. It's really good compared to an EQ6, which is basically welded to the floor. So that's really good. And I have bought something new, which is on this mount, and I've just started a video on that. I started filming it yesterday, and it's about power. So it's basically this whole thing now, this whole mount, and I know this sounds weird, is running off one power supply instead of lots of power supplies. And I know that's not unusual. For me, it's unusual. I had 6 power supplies. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon, it's on 2 power supplies. That's a lie, because I've got a USB hub, which is being driven. You can see those lights there. That's the USB hub. But I don't even need a USB hub to run this, so it could all be run on one power supply. And this little tiny black box I've purchased is distributing the power, and it's been really good. So that'll be my hopefully next video. Although I have a slight confession, my next Open University course is going to start this week, and it's the Open University Planetary Science and the Search for Life course, and I've just received the books, and the first book is about the solar system, and it's the size, or it's about an inch thick. And then the second book is about astrobiology, and that's also about an inch thick. There's so much reading to do, and although the course doesn't officially start until October, I need to get some reading done and start making some notes, because I'm going to fall behind. So I'm such a slow reader. I really need to get my head in gear to get some studying done again. Oh, more comments. Here we go. I'm sure Ian will post it next time. Yeah, definitely. If it lines up with my bank account, then a nice colour. The 533 is really good. It's a really good sensor. The only thing which isn't so good about it is the fact that it's a tiny bit small. That's all. But with a wide field setup like this, so I did a test actually where I took some smaller objects and I did a test with a field of view calculator with this setup, and they fitted really well in the 533. So I'm going to try and do a lot more with this setup. My cat's going mad again. Oh, are you alright, mate? Anyway, right. Where are we? Let's go and have last look, and then I'm meant to go to bed. So guiding's really good now. For my EQ3, this is staggeringly good guiding for my EQ3. And I know I'm fully zoomed in at 16, and if I went to 4 it would be like a mad thing, but I'm just for my EQ3 that's fine, and it's very forgiving at this focal length, so I'm very happy with that guiding at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to wrap there, and hopefully I'll get another video out soon. I do appreciate you all joining very much, and Titch, take care, and Dr. Hex UK, take care, and everyone else, take care as well. Thank you for joining, and the only thing I would slight plea, if you do like this, please give it a like. It really helps, and if you'd like to subscribe, I'd be incredibly grateful to you all. As I say, I don't get any money for this. I just mess about, and I'm not wanting to make any money really. It's just for fun and to interact with you guys, and to hopefully help some people out there. So take care, everyone, and I now need to find the button that allows me to stop the stream, which is somewhere amongst many windows. So good night, everyone, and I'll see you again hopefully in the next video. So take care.